The sea monster attacks Mia and starts killing her. She screams loudly. Luke hears his girlfriend screams and runs to save her. He attacks her with firewood, but it has no effect on the monster, and he picks it up and throws it away. Jane breaks the ropes and runs to help them, but the monster had already taken Mia to the sea. Mia picked up Luke and ran away to the forest. The next morning, they decide to escape from the island in a rift. But as soon as they go some distance from the island, the monster attacks them while tearing apart the raft. The monster grabs Jane and takes her to the depths of the ocean. Jane was constantly attacking him with a knife, and finally she escapes his grasp. Monster sees Luke coming to save her. He grabs her and takes her to the hole under the sea, while Jane swims back to the island. The next night, the monster comes to the island once again to kill Jane. Will Jane be able to kill the monster this time or not? Let's go to the detailed explanation of the movie. At the beginning of the film, we see that Jane and her friend Brad are on an island. Brad's body had sea stones, which made him unconscious. Bleeding continued. Jane throws the stone out and runs to the forest for help, but there is no one in the forest to help her. She breaks a coconut and brings its water to Jane, but unfortunately he died before his arrival. Jane goes into the forest to explore the island. While walking, he finds a bag hanging on a tree, a cooler, and an iron box. Inside the bag were some medicines which had expired in 1994, while the box contained some pictures of family and a diary. She keeps them. It rains a lot at night. Next morning, Jane finds some fish on the island. Meanwhile, she sees a shark with half of its body cut off and half of its body with very deep marks. She starts looking around, but far away, there was only water and sand. Brad's body was decomposing, so she digs a hole and buries him. While wandering in the forest, he finds 3 more graves. Seeing this, Jane starts to wonder what happened to them. Jane prepares a small place to sleep at night and sleeps on it while cooking fish. Next morning, while wandering around the island, Jane sees Brad's grave, which someone has dragged away. Jane realizes that there must be a monster on the island that hunts at night. Jane sharpens a stick to confront him and goes to the forest in search of him, but finds nothing there. Jane realizes that night whoever took Brad's body will surely come to attack today, but nothing happened at night. Next morning, Jane sees something floating in the sea. She goes into the water to take a closer look. While diving, he sees a hole deep in the sea. Jane picks up a floating bag containing sneakers and some clothes. She wears them and tries to keep her body warm with a fire and these clothes in the cold night. At night, she sees a box diary, but due to the rain, all the words were removed. She starts looking at these pictures, which were family pictures. Meanwhile, a plane passes by. Jane fires with gun, but the plane is gone. In the light of the fire, he sees a monster coming out of the sea. Jane runs towards a forest with her stick and sits on a tree, and she closes her eyes. She was hearing the sound of leaves and monsters walking around her, but she does not open her eyes due to fear. Next morning, she starts watching the night pictures again. In these pictures, she sees a woman hanging a bag on a tree, but she sees 2 eyes shining in the dark. It seemed that those people would also have been victims of the monster. She tries to run away from here, taking the support of the bag, but this is not possible. On the same day, he finds a floating body in the sea, half of which was cut off. It was certain that he was also eaten by the monster. While sleeping at night, a flash of lightning makes him see the monster once again. He also sees it. Jane tries to run away from there, but due to fear, she does not move. Monster tries to catch her while she falls down. Jane runs away from there. Monster chases her and comes in front of her. Jane stabs her stick into her stomach. The monster runs away towards the sea, wounding Jane with its sharp claws, and in this way both are saved from death. Next morning, while washing his wounds on the sea, he sees a floating raft. She quickly swims over to what she is surprised to see as her boyfriend Luke's and her friend Mia are in it. She brings them to the island and gives them fish and coconut water to eat. Jane is overjoyed to see them both here and starts crying as Luke comforts her, saying that everything will be fine. Jane starts telling them all about the island monster, how it attacked me and dragged Brad's body into the sea. But both of them were not believing in Jane's words. Jane asks them to leave here, but both of them don't agree. Mia tells them that they have had a hard time surviving on the raft for the last 10 days. Every passing day seemed like it was the last day. And now we are in a better place. Jane is unable to convince them to run away from here. So she waits for them to be some distance from there, and then tries to run away with all the food in the raft. But they both see her doing this and catch her, but Jane asks them to run away. Trying to fight, Mia knocks Jane unconscious and ties him to a tree. At night, Luke visits Jane and tries to convince her that we are safe here, and there are no monsters here. And he was about to express his love to her, but Jane was not ready to listen to anything. At the same time, the sound of Mia screaming is heard as the monster is grabbing her and taking her into the sea. Luke runs to save her. Jane also breaks the ropes and runs towards it. Luke throws the flaming baton at his stomach, but it has no effect. The monster had half eaten Mia, and with that he goes to the sea. Jane takes Luke and runs to the forest. In the morning, Luke was so scared of the monster that he didn't come down from the tree. Jane explains that the monster only comes out of the sea at night, and they both decide to leave the island. Jane gathers all the things and they both sit on the raft and leave. Soon they feel something floating under the raft, and with it the monster attacks them, tearing the raft apart, and starts to grab Jane and drag her into the sea. Jane keeps stabbing him in the chest with her knife and thus escapes. Seeing Luke coming towards him, the monster grabs him and takes him to a shell under the sea. Jane swims back to the island. She starts preparing her weapons for the last fight with the monster, and with that, she starts writing about the days spent here and the monster in the diary, so that if any person comes here one day, he can get help from the diary. As night falls, the monster comes to the island to kill Jane once again. But this time, Jane had laid a very dangerous trap for him. As soon as he comes to Jane, there is fire everywhere. The monster gets confused. Jane starts attacking him continuously with her wooden weapons. She wounds him with one blow after another. The monster grabs him and throws him away. And when he is about to kill him by the face again, Jane starts stabbing him in the chest with her knife. The monster gets up again and starts coming after him, but due to his injuries, he falls on him, and Jane kills him with her stick. In Lost, Jane sets the entire forest on fire so that someone from afar can see her and come to her aid. And this is the end of the film. If you like this explanation of mine, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.